Okay, so we talked about quarterbacks. Let's talk about wide receivers. This list is a freaking nightmare. As I'm looking at this free agent list, it just goes on and on and on and on. Obviously, we're gonna, teams are gonna start working from the top down. So, tell me what you think.
So this free agency for wide receivers is different because teams always need weapons, right? Every team needs more weapons, but in this class of free agents, there aren't really a whole lot of big time names in big time difference makers, but there are definitely guys that could change the vibe for some teams. Robert Woods is a solid guy to look at, right? Somebody that went to the Titans and that didn't work out, but they run the ball with Derrick Henry in the past. So, I think Robert Woods could still be serviceable. DJ Chark is on this list, another guy that I really like. Sterling Shepard is a guy that I really like. I think somebody will take a chance on him because there's a lot of talent there, but he gets hurt a lot, so he's not going to make much money coming in. There's probably going to be a 1-year deal for a guy like him. But then, the first interesting name that I see on here is Julio Jones. And what's going to happen there? Is he even going to come back? I feel like I haven't heard anything about Julio. That kind of makes me think that he's going to try to come back and play somewhere. And it'll be interesting to see where a guy like him ends up, because I know, there are going to be some people might say, bring him to the Colts because the Colts don't have a whole lot of weapons. But at this point, as much as I've always loved Julio Jones, I think I'd be fine on bringing Julio Jones to Indy. I feel like that would be like when Andre Johnson came in. Like, yeah, it was great to have you, but you were way past your prime and we didn't need you. And that's how I would feel about Julio Jones coming to Indy, at least.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bringing guys like that in, especially when you're trying to, I don't even want to say rebuild, but you bring a veteran in like that and you have him work with the young guys. He's going to speak Shane Steichen's language. He's going to know, he's going to pick it up faster. He's going to be able to translate that to the young guys. So there's a lot of value in bringing a guy like that in that can still play, and he's going to have an influence on what the franchise looks like over the next couple of years. So that would make a lot of sense to bring him in to a place like Indianapolis. And there's a lot of teams that fits with, for sure. But Indy would be a good one with the new offense there with Shane Steichen. Anybody else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think the next guy on this list that intrigues me is going to be guys like Juju Smith-Schuster and Jacoby Myers. Two guys that have shown that they can be a guy, but can they be the number one? That is kind of what I was talking about with this class. There aren't a whole lot of, bona fide number ones, but Jacoby Myers and Juju Smith-Schuster have shown they go on a team and make a team a lot better in the pass game. And those are two guys that I think, are going to go somewhere and get the bag. It's that time for Jacoby Myers. It's going to be his second contract. Juju just had, kind of a prove-it year with the Chiefs and was a big part in their playoff run and helped them win a Super Bowl. So guys like that are going to be interesting coming up. Another name that I see on here that interests me is Ashton Doolin. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. And that's kind of just an insider, just kind of for us, because he was a Colt, played mostly special teams, but he's a decent wide receiver, really good on special teams. So I'm kind of paying attention to where he's going to end up. But then scrolling down this list, there are a lot of guys on here that at this point are getting later in their careers, like Jamison Crowder and like a Sammy Watkins. They'll be picked up. What's that?
T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton. See, and I'm glad you brought T.Y. Hilton up because T.Y. is one that I thought, and of course I'm biased because I love T.Y. But when he went to the Cowboys, showed that he still had it. Became their number 2 receiver, and he was only with them for 4 or 5 games, something like that. And he showed that he could still make the big plays. He showed that he could still make plays. And so I'd be fine with the Colts bringing him back and obviously getting an older veteran in the room, but bringing him back. I think losing him in the locker room was something big that showed up on the field for the Colts last year. So I'd be fine with bringing T.Y. Hilton back for whatever he wants. Let him play. I think he can still play, even if he's, taking games off because his hamstrings hurt. I understand he's older and that's going to happen, but I think bringing T.Y. in would be a good idea.
Yeah, I do too.